Oh, hey guys, welcome back. Sorry, I'm so close to the camera. Today, let me just pan up. You see this, Melanochrysum? I think I'm gonna chop her. I'm gonna take a top cutting, so this leaf and this beautiful leaf over here. I'm gonna keep this one, I think, but I might cut it in half. I'm gonna propagate it, put it in my new tree fern mix, and I'm so excited. I'm scared also because she's a beaut. Look at her. And for y'all that are new here, hello, my name is Kevin, but also I ignored her and I shouldn't have. But here's to new beginnings. I still think I'm gonna propagate like each node, and I think I might, because you can see that there's so much stem. I think I might keep it and then just keep one leaf and see what happens. It's a big question mark how the root system is in the aeroid mix from 2021, because that's how old it is. I actually don't know how good it is. And I don't know if this plant is relying on the roots in the moss pole, the roots in the air layering, or the roots in the aeroid mix, or a combination of all three. I have no idea. And so, yeah, I'm excited. So you can see that I air layered with moss using my Ziploc method, keeping the moisture in, and then I did it a second time. So you can see roots. I've only wet these twice, so you can see condensation. It's not the most moist that I've kept it, and I do regret that. We're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna cross our fingers and hopefully it's okay. Let me just do, because look, so I'm keeping this leaf. Wow. I'm sorry, that is so gorgeous. And then the one over here, which is newer, but look at her, wow. That is just incredible. I'm so obsessed. Okay, so I'll try to hold this leaf so y'all can see. It's a little difficult, but I'm gonna make a cut right below here and then we'll take a look, because I actually don't know what the roots look like. Like, I'm really hoping that it's a big root system. Taking my shears over here, we're gonna make a chop, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, that's a thick stem, wow. This is pretty incredible. Again, I got this plant in 2020. We've had our ups and downs. Like, for example, I had her in LECA initially. I had the unfortunate stem rot event. Oh, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. God. Then I was essentially just forced to, wow. I was forced to put it into an aeroid mix because all my followers at the time were like, do it. And I mean, it's been like that since. Whoa. Do you see this? I'm thinking because we're going into winter, like normally I would just have this against my south-facing window, but because of the hours of light has decreased, I think I'm gonna like use this as like the leaf I'm gonna sacrifice to have it up against the grow light. Not up against, but you know, like in front of the grow light, while these two leaves kind of just face other directions. We'll look at the main plant later. I'm really just curious to see what the root system looks like in here. So let me just move you back. Okay, let's see. We're just gonna sit on the floor for a little bit. I realized that I want to take the moss pole from the existing plant, and so I just kind of made a cut over here with one of these leaves. It's rooted in the moss or whatever is here. I'm gonna try to separate it. It's gonna be a little difficult. I have no idea if these roots are even like viable roots, but just want to see. If not, I'm just gonna cut them and then put them probably in water just to see if there's any new root formation. These are like completely dry. So there were some roots. I feel really bad because like, girl, you could have been great, but we'll put it off to the side. Again, I was just separating it because I do need the moss pole. Do I need a moss pole? Is it mandatory? I don't think so, but just seeing this plant, this plant specifically will benefit. So one mistake I made before, I used the smallest setting on these foldable moss poles. And so I'm gonna use maybe the second biggest or biggest configuration. I don't like moss poles, but you know what? It's not about me. It's about the plant. And I'm gonna use, I'm not gonna use a self-watering planter. I'm gonna use one of these. I initially got this planter from Raven Vision Orchids. I kind of want to use a cleaner one. They're all dirty. I'm just taking a few zip ties. I'm gonna zip tie it to the bottom. And I was thinking, like, I'm just doing this for stability. I'm using tree fern substrate, which I amended with a lot of pon, a lot of perlite. If I do ever need to repot it, I can probably just cut the zip ties and then just take it out. Did I mention? I think I might, I know this is really premature, but I might take top cutting for my Spiritus Sancti. Y'all saw it in the, I guess it was the Monday video. And the reason why, I go through this every fall, winter. And what happens during this time, the sun is lower in this room. And even though the temperatures outside are cooler, because you're getting more of a direct ray of sun into this room, it's actually a tad more warmer than, I don't want to say that. It stays warm. It stays as warm as the summer for a few weeks. We're kind of in that sweet spot now, and I'm predicting that I'll probably get 2 to 3 more weeks of this. And so I feel like that's the perfect time to propagate plants, put them in their new home. And that's why for the Spiritus, like that's why I want to do that, because I do want to try it in tree fern. I have my tree fern mix. This one, I just kind of based on feel. Like honestly, I know I talked about ratios and the measurement, but I was just adding perlite, I was just adding pon, I was adding tree fern, and just like basing on how it feels in the hand. And it's just super chunky, as well as just keeping the moisture in. And so I'm just taking a bit and I'm gonna put it in. I can't see anything, by the way. I know my camera's recording and it's just far, so I can't see anything. So I'm sorry if it's not focused or, oh. I love how I'm just putting tree fern substrate and I didn't even look at the roots to gauge how much I need to fill in the bottom. Okay, let's just like, let's put that off to the side here and let's grab Miss, Melanochrysum. My gosh. I know I'm gonna have to stabilize this somehow. Okay, yeah, the moss is still pretty moist, which is great. Fantastic. I might reuse some of this for the moss pole. Let me just put it there. So the key things with transferring a plant, like taking a top cutting, give it more light than you usually would. The plant needs to, you know, even though there is that release of auxin, which will help, it's a hormone that helps the plant push out new growth, but you still need to help it. You still need to give it light. It's gonna wanna, you know, produce more food because you've, again, robbed this plant from its root system. So lots of light. Warmth helps, and that's why, I mean, this goes on what I was saying about how warm this room gets during this time. You know, depending on the root system, like if this plant didn't have a big root system, I would keep it extremely moist. And that's why substrate is so important and keeping the air pockets in between, because you can't suffocate the plant. I heard that you're settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said. Okay, I'm leaving some moss, everyone, because I just don't want to disrupt it. And I know it's a big chunk, but that's the first part. Let's open the second part here and like hope that the root system is a bit bigger. Ooh, this one's more moist. Okay, that's a good sign. Yes, I do. I believe that one day I will be where I was right there, right next to you. You told me not to cry when you were gone. Can I lay by your side? I'm gonna try to find my face, but do you see this system? See how perfect? Well, I think it's, well, I don't know yet. If I take the planter over here, pop it in, please, please, please. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a lot of the substrate out. Hold on. I'm just putting it in, everyone, and really trying to push it down, because a lot of these aerial roots, they're at the surface and it's a healthy root system. So I'm just trying to push it. I know I could use a bigger planter, but right now I don't have one, unfortunately. So I might potentially put cling wrap on top just to keep the top moist, along with maybe some of this moss. So it's actually good that there's a little bit of moss that's just attached to the root still. I'm just putting tree fern. I don't think you can see, but I'm just putting my tree fern mix in, shaking it in between so the mix goes all around that root system. And then as you go, just making sure you're putting and pushing the roots down. I could have just left like one root system because I air layered it twice, but I always feel comfortable with more than one. Okay, I'm doing my last kind of inspection. Oh my God, and I burped. Okay, I'm doing my last inspection. I think we're pretty much distributed around. Again, every time you like slam the pot on the ground or shake it, you're redistributing the substrate around the roots. And you'll see that even though it looks and appears that it's full, every time you shake it, the soil or whatever settles. Okay, let's put you here for now. Wow, okay, I just need to clean up a little bit. And so I'm gonna take the leftover moss here. I guess I'll use the bin as kind of like a table just for the time being. And then I'm gonna bring the plant back. I'm gonna fill the moss pole with moss. And this is another key thing when it comes to propagation. When it comes to more valuable plants, this is a very valuable plant to me. You know, I talked about having two nodes that were air layered, which like they both had pretty decent roots, but I'm also considering the node over here that has a lot of aerial roots that are still fresh, covering that with moss, putting cling wrap or something to keep in the moisture just so they don't dry out, because if the root systems in the planter and the tree fern do fail or rot, then you have a backup here that will keep your plant alive. So just think of all the backups. Like there's two root systems in here. There's gonna be one against the moss pole. Obviously, zero root systems mean the plant will not survive. You know, when I was thinking about goals, I know 2 years ago-ish, I made the goal to make this, not make, but grow this Melanochrysum so it hits the ceiling. And, you know, obviously me ignoring it, I didn't reach that goal. Like I wasn't even close. And even 2 years later, it still hasn't, like it's definitely grown. It's just not grown rapidly. Again, I would link that to me at the time not being comfortable with aerated mixes and just me also not understanding like the balance of light and all that. I have cling wrap here. I'm just gonna take a bit. I'm gonna do a long piece and then fold it, I think. So just kind of wrapping here, leaving enough room, just like that. Grabbing some plant tape, just so it doesn't fall through the bottom. And then we're just gonna start filling with the moss we had already. Really trying to get underneath and just surrounding that root system. Okay. I think that's good actually. So now I'm gonna pull the top part here and I'm gonna add another piece of plant tape just around here. I'm trying not to suffocate the top part because she is pushing against the moss pole and I don't want any bruising, so I'm just gonna loosely put it like that. But I think that should be okay. Now I'm just gonna walk to the sink. I just want to give it a good watering. I use plant tape to kind of force them to face this way. And yeah, again, I'm gonna like kind of just use this one as a solar panel so then these two can keep their dark foliage. I'm just gonna put it here. You can't see, but I'm just gonna put this into the moss pole and just slowly run the water over it. I have to say, everyone, I'm so happy. Like, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I really gave it a good watering. Like she is still like drip, 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 drip. Okay, that's okay. But everyone, it's gonna be so exciting. It's gonna be so exciting. And y'all keep me accountable. Like you have to. Wow, this is so amazing. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna keep this leaf. Okay, so I did take 2 cuttings. I think there's one more. This is gonna take so much room though, but I just wanna see what's gonna happen. Do you know what? I think I'm gonna keep these 2 leaves as they are. The only reason, look, take a look at this root system. Do you see? Ooh, the light is doing its thing. There's actually a lot of roots in here. Okay, do you know what? I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna keep it as is, and then we'll see if I need to cut it more. But I think for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. Just do this so they can both face the grow light, because I took the leaves that were facing the grow light. And so here's this one. Oh my God, look at those crusty leaves. And then, again, I just don't know where to put this one. Oh my gosh, the light's behind it, so it's looking real yellow. Okay, and then I wanna look at my Spiritus. I still don't know, I'm almost scared that the root system has already grown into, like outside the net pot, into the reservoir, and has branched, because at that stage, it's kind of hard to preserve that. Okay, this is my Spiritus, everyone. It's doing its thing. I just see like juicy aerial roots. I want to submerge them so they root. And then I might keep like a couple nodes previous to the last one just because I really love this plant. Jose, this is your Spiritus. I don't know if you remember, but I bought your Spiritus and I was so happy. This is a crazy idea. Yeah, but we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna keep this leaf, and then I think this leaf. It's all the new ones. And I'm gonna keep like the butt cut essentially, or the bottom part of the plant in LECA. Okay, let's see if it actually grew root system over here. Okay, don't see anything on that side. Oh, I see a root on this side. Oh, it's a big one. I'm gonna make the wildest chop. It's risky because there's only one root. It hasn't branched. It's not that big. But I'm betting on the aerial roots, and I'll show you after. I'm betting on these juicy aerial roots. Let's just be risky. Let's be risky because like it's time. Hey guys, here we go. Oh, is that right? Yeah, it's right. Let's just say it's right until it's not right. It's all right, but it's okay. Okay, I'm gonna show you this and y'all are gonna yell. This is how much I trust tree fern though. Okay, so you can see that I left these 2 leaves. The reason why it seems to me that from the nodes on this one, there's root systems coming out on multiple sides. And so, oh my God, okay, I have to lose this leaf because it's gonna break off. Okay, sorry. So I'm left with just this one root, but do you see how healthy? The end is so healthy. And then at the top, look at these juicy roots over here. But it's this much of the plant. Was that a mistake? Okay, the plan is I already got rid of one leaf. I'm gonna get rid of this leaf. Really? Can I cut it again? I think I can. Where's the node though? Oh, it's over here. Okay, I can cut this again and just pop it in water. So this one, no roots. Always preserve. Can we focus? Can we please focus not on me? Okay, it's still not focusing. There's a node there. This cameraman. No roots, but I'm gonna put this in water. Usually a new growth point will grow first and then a new root. So this one's gonna take a little bit. And then yeah, we're left with this. Okay, I'm gonna put in a bigger planter. The reason why, I'm really betting on those aerial roots. There's 3 of them. There's 3 healthy aerial roots that are like very moist looking, and at that stage, like it's the perfect time. And for them to activate, it needs to be really wet around them. Also, that aerial root was in like moss, like it was like really heavily surrounded by moss. And so it was a really wet environment. So by putting this propagation into a big planter, it'll stay wet longer. And I'm gonna say this again, your substrate is so important. This is why pond works a lot for me at least, because you have that wetness consistently while also having the fixed air pockets. With this tree fern mix, there's lots of pond, there's large pieces of perlite, tree fern, we have stratum, biochar, and worm casting. So it's a really good mix and I trust it. Are these the famous last words before? Isn't this exciting? I already know a lot of the comments are gonna be like, do more philodendron content. I probably have like 4 philodendrons and I've done 2 today. That's a lie, I think I have 6. Gosh, since I've gotten rid of a lot of my philodendrons, I've now become like not used to the nectaries. My gosh, the nectaries, in my opinion, they're so annoying. And I'm actually going to put that root up against the side of the planter just so I can observe it. But again, we're going to trust the 3 aerial roots. We're just going to trust them. Sometimes you need to trust your plants. Like I find a lot of time, oh, I can't even see it. I can't see the root, so maybe I lied. But look. Oh my gosh, I'm really excited, even though like, what if it doesn't make it? Oh well. Okay, I'm walking into the living room. I just want to water it thoroughly again. I think that's the right decisiones. Okay, another thing I'm gonna look for, I want to know where the aerial roots are. They're pretty high up. See, I wouldn't have this fear if this was a self-watering pot, but because this is just kind of a nursery pot, I'm scared that this top part is gonna dry out. So I'm actually debating putting a layer of pond on top here just to keep the moisture in. I think I might do that because I'm too scared. Okay, here we go. Okay, oh, look at this. It's gonna do so well. I truly believe that this is gonna do well, even though it has that root system, like not that root system, that one root. I'm just gonna really hope and rely on just the other roots. We will see, but I'm very hopeful. Okay, and don't laugh. I'm not gonna do anything with my Billietiae, but this is what's left of my Billietiae. She's getting too wide, so I decided to take a mid cut, and I've had this in this is disgusting. I've had this in water for months. So I should repot it, but I should, right? Like in this video. Okay, fine. Fine, okay. Anyways, I brought that container because I was just gonna take the 2 Melanochrysum cuttings and the 1 Spiritus cutting and then put it in the same deli container of water. I've kind of run out of deli containers. The Spiritus is probably the only one that I've been keeping an eye on. Oh my god, my UPI. I need to do something with that in the next video. Okay, just knowing Billietiae, everyone. Root system, and even the plant itself, they just go off. Like it's a very wide plant. So I'm gonna use this planter. There's enough of a reservoir down here, and there's holes in a wick at the very bottom. Grabbing the tree fern, and then we're just going to put it in the planter. This is very exciting for me because the Billietiae was one of my first plants that I got back in 2019, I think. It was one of the first plants that I switched over right away to LECA. And so it didn't live that long in an arid mix. Okay, let's just, this is gross. Oh my god, it's taken the shape of the deli container. What's this gross part at the bottom? Yeah, she lives on the floor, so there's a lot of like dead leaves that might have like rotted in here. I'm trying to point, I don't want to break the roots, but I'm trying to point the root system down. I guess when I add the mix, it'll be okay. And there is a growth point. I don't know if I showed it. Right over there. That's the growth point. I know it looks gross. Covering it, shaking it so everything settles again. Making sure everything is wet. Water roots, you need to keep it wet in any substrate that you put in after it's rooted in water, because the roots like that environment. And you should, for at least a few weeks, keep it super wet and then taper it off where you're putting less water. Okay, it's to the top. I'm so scared that I'm gonna spill it, but look. Look at this. Okay, I just have this bamboo stake. I'm just putting it on the edge. Hopefully I'm not breaking any roots. Then I'm just taking plant tape and tying it. It's definitely not stable enough. I'm thinking of putting more substrate. Fingers crossed that the Billietiae is okay. Okay, I'm just kind of rinsing the deli container, and then I'm gonna put the cuttings in water. I know one of them has that root system, but honestly, I don't trust it. So kind of relying on either the growth point or new roots from that node to grow. So Melanochrysum number 1, Melanochrysum number 2, and then Spiritus over here. And, I'm already hurting you. Okay, I'm gonna put this up against the window. Oh my god, everything. Oh my gosh, I'll deal with this later. Okay guys, I guess that's it. Philodendron video, wow. Are y'all surprised? Okay, so I never explained what happened to my Philodendron Billietiae, my Philodendron Red Anderson. Chopped them up because I needed the room. See, this is like, it's always the issue. I keep the plant, I keep a lot of my plants, but then when I introduce more plants, so y'all know that my love for Anthuriums have grown, so when I buy another Anthurium, have to make room for the Anthurium. Well, I cut these two Philodendrons, so they've been propagating in water for months. They look awful, but maybe I'll repot them on video if y'all want to see that. So please like this video, please leave a comment, and I would greatly appreciate it. But until then, thank you for watching. I will join you in the next one.